One chapter in the bitter feud involving the Health Services Union closed today. The federal court ordered the wind-up of the East branch of the disgraced union, placing it in the hands of an administrator. The federal government brought on the court action and has been deeply embarrassed by the affair. But with 2 police investigations to come, the saga is unlikely to end soon. Here's political editor Chris Yillman.
Go, Brett!
Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec.
Down the line.
Obviously, I'm disappointed in the outcomes.
Excuse me, Mr Thompson, is it right for the HSU to go into administration?
Oh, it's got nothing to do with me.
The amalgamation of the union did not cause the corruption in the HSU East.
A former National Secretary of the Health Services Union.
But is this fair for the workers?
It's got nothing to do with me. You should go and ask them.
And the current one.
I was quite surprised by the judge's decision.
Bitter enemies 300 kilometres apart, but their fortunes are bound to the union which nurtured them, and its largest branch is being torn apart.
The membership should decide whether there should be a demerger of the union or whether we should stay together as one big union.
Today, the federal court declared the union's East branch dysfunctional and put it into administration.
Justice Michael Moore has been appointed the administrator. As part of the order, there will be a demerger of the branch into its 3 constituent parts.
HSU East is a 2-year-old hybrid born of a deal struck between the New South Wales branch, led by Michael Williamson, and 2 Victorian branches run by Cathy Jackson. That combination meant they controlled half of the Health Services Union's 70,000-strong membership.
But you helped set up HSU East with Michael Williamson, didn't you? So aren't you partly responsible for whatever corruption there might be there?
Not at all. As soon as I became aware of the corruption, I took my allegations to the police.
Cathy Jackson was paid $270,000 a year for her role as executive president of the HSU East branch, and as its general secretary, Michael Williamson was reportedly paid $330,000. That's all over.
The executive of the union have now all lost their positions.
The union's brutal internal war would hold little national interest if it wasn't for the link to former Labor MP, now independent, Craig Thompson, and the fact that Labor relies on his vote to keep the Gillard government afloat.
It's a bit of a relief to be out of the spotlight a bit more these days.
It's nice to come and have a game of football with some of your mates.
Cathy Jackson's been pursuing the former HSU National Secretary since she followed him in the job.
The HSU first became aware of the questionable financial transactions in May 2008.
Those transactions included claims Craig Thompson improperly used his union credit card to rack up hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal expenses, nearly $6,000 of that on prostitutes. A 3-year inquiry by the industrial umpire found against Mr Thompson. He denies all charges.
At the end of the day, I'm quite confident that we'll be able to show that these allegations are totally without foundation.
But the union's woes didn't end there. The brawl kept widening as Cathy Jackson fell out with Michael Williamson, and the New South Wales Police raided the Sydney office of HSU East.
The evidence that we collect today needs to be forensically examined.
During the raid, Mr Williamson was caught removing a box of documents.
I have major concerns that efforts have been made to interfere with information relevant to our investigation. I don't dismiss the possibility of criminal charges arising.
The HSU East branch so tarnished the reputation of unions and embarrassed the Labor government that it was expelled from the ACTU, and the Workplace Relations Minister moved to have it put into administration.
It was an unprecedented application. It was joined by the whole trade union movement, the branches of the HSU which haven't been dysfunctional, the ACTU unions, New South Wales. It's the last thing in the world we wanted to do. But we do want to make sure that our trade unions in Australia, that they're run in the interest of their members, and that people have confidence that their union's being properly run.
The sole voice against the move was Cathy Jackson.
I feel I've been denied an opportunity to have my day in court, to present my evidence. My evidence was never looked at, it was thrown out early on. and I don't think the court has got the power to disamalgamate the branches.
Cathy Jackson's crusade has uncovered disturbing practices in her union, and only the police are in a position to decide if it amounts to criminal behaviour. But her own use of union funds is now being questioned.
Given that the accusations are there, on face value they're reasonably serious, then Cathy deserves the right to have those that independent investigation either clear her or actually confirm that there are some problems there with the finances of the Vic No. 3 branch when she was secretary.
The HSU debacle has led to a push to toughen the rules governing unions,
so that the public can have renewed confidence that the hard work done by employer organisations and unions, that they're confident that work is being done in the best interests of their constituents.
This is unlikely to be the last we hear of the Health Services Union. There are 2 police investigations underway. There may well be civil action. And then there's the endless stream of damaging documents that pours out from all sides. Cathy Jackson unleashed hell when she started to pursue Craig Thompson. Along the way, the reputations of all unions, Fair Work Australia and the Gillard government, took a hit. And there's no doubt that part of the legacy of this affair is an emboldened coalition, pondering a far-reaching inquiry into the Labor movement if it's returned to power.
Political editor Chris Ullman.